Okay. In last class, in work per energy based on the work, 13 node points are completed. Okay, next 14th node point. So node points we are discussing. 14th node point. Suppose along the quadrant of the circular path, along the quadrant of the circular path of radius capital, from A to B, a particle is displaced by applying some force. A particle is moved from A to B along the quadrant of the circular path. Along the quadrant of the circular path. It is the quadrant of the circular path. Okay, of radius r. Here one particle is moving along this arc of the circle or quadrant of the circular path. The body is moving along this path by applying forces. Here, by applying the force, when F1 force is applied, F1 force is applied. Suppose the particle is here, say, it is moving along this path like this. For F1 force is applied on particle, which is always acts towards B. This is important point. In this first case, when F1 force is applied on a particle, whatever the position of the particle while moving from A to B along this arc of the circle, the force acts on the particle is always towards B. That is very, very important. Suppose when the particle is here, the force acts on the particle is towards B. Towards B means along this path. Whenever the particle is here, the force acts on the particle is towards B means that force acts in this direction. The force acts in this direction, that is F1. But whereas the direction of motion of the particle is along tangential direction, along the tangential direction. In this direction, velocity of the particle is there, or in this direction, the displacement of the particle is there. At that instant, whenever the particle is here, it is say O. Okay, now, whenever the particle is at C, while moving along the arc of the circle here, whenever the particle lies at C, the angle made by position of the particle with respect to O with horizontal is say theta. Okay, suppose the particle displaces a small distance ds, through it displaces through an angle say d theta. Initially, while the particle moving from A to B along the arc of the circular path or quadrant of the circular path, at certain instant of time, whenever the particle displaces through an angle theta from horizontal, the particle lies at C. At that time, the force acts on the particle is towards point B. The force is always towards point B. Even the particle lies at A, the force acts on the particle is towards B. When it is at C, force is towards B. When it is at this point, the force is towards B. That means force acts on the particle is always towards B. That is the important point here. Okay. So in general, whenever the particle lies at C, so that it displaces through an angle theta from horizontal, at that time, the direction of motion or direction of displacement is along the tangential direction at this point to this arc. And the force acts on the particle is towards B. Now, in this case, what is the work done? As long as the particle displaces like this, the direction of motion continuously varies, no? That's why you consider the small element here. Suppose this is the small displacement ds. Small displacement, it is say ds. Okay. Angle subtended by the small element at the center O is say d theta. Then we can write d theta is equal to arc by radius. Arc by radius. That implies ds is equal to, we can write r into d theta. This is equation 1. So here, whenever the particle displaces through a small distance ds, then that distance ds can be given by r into d theta. In this case, for the small displacement ds, there is no considerable change in the direction of motion of the particle from through a distance ds. As ds is a small displacement, when the particle moves from this point to this point through a small distance ds, there is no considerable change in the direction. The direction of its motion is along this direction. Okay, what is the component of this displacement along the direction of applied force? This angle we need. This angle we need. What about that angle? If it is theta, then how we can find this angle? We need here, as this is the tangent drawn at this point, definitely the line joining this position of the particle and center and this tangent, that is 90. Here it is 90. Suppose at this point when you draw the tangent, then the tangent is in this direction. So here it is also 90. It is 90. Okay. Here you see in this quadrilateral, this is 90, this is 90, means it is 180. This angle is 90 minus theta, no? Then what about the, we have to find this angle. That is our aim. We have to find this angle. Definitely this angle and this angle both are same, because these 2 points are symmetric and we draw the perpendicular tangents. Those 2 tangents meet at this point. Okay, that's why whatever this angle is also same. Suppose this is say alpha, then this is also equal to alpha. Okay, what about this angle? Here it is 90, 90. In the quadrilateral, the total angles at the 4 corners is equal to 360 degree, in which 90, 90, 180 is over. So remaining this angle plus this angle becomes 90, 180. 90 minus theta, suppose this angle is say beta. Then 90 minus theta plus beta is equal to 180 degree. Implies beta is equal to 180 minus theta, sorry, 180 plus theta minus 90, means 90 plus beta, no? 180, sorry. Here in terms of theta we have to write. Okay. So beta is equal to 180 minus 90 means 90. Next plus theta, 90 plus theta. So this angle is here, this angle is equal to 90 plus theta. Now here you see in this triangle, beta plus 2 alpha is equal to 180, no? Beta plus 2 alpha is equal to 180. Implies we need beta. No, sorry, we need alpha. So 2 alpha is equal to 180 minus beta. That is equal to 180 minus beta means 90 plus theta, means 90 degree minus theta you will get. So that is equal to 90 degree minus theta. So 2 alpha is equal to this one. Therefore, alpha is equal to 45 degree minus theta by 2. So this angle alpha is equal to 45 degree minus theta by 2. Therefore, whenever the particle travel through a small displacement ds, then what is the work done by this applied force in order to displace the body through a small displacement? So for the small displacement, work done dW is equal to force into displacement of the body along the direction of force. In this direction it is ds. What is the component of this displacement along the direction of applied force? Means ds cos alpha, no? Ds cos alpha. So that is equal to F1 ds into cos alpha, means from this alpha is equal to 45 minus theta by 2, no? So cos 45 degree minus theta by 2. This is dW, or dW is equal to F1. It is the magnitude. It is the magnitude of this force acts on the particle, that is constant. ds means we can write, you see, ds is equal to r into d theta. You write r into d theta into cos 45 minus theta by 2. Therefore, dW is equal to F1r cos 45 degree minus theta by 2 into d theta. So this is the work done to displace the particle. Satvik, where you could not understand? Where you could not understand? Satvik, I will unmute you. Speak with me. Where you could not understand, you tell me. Satvik. Satvik.
నేను కాదు సార్.
నువ్వు కదా? Okay. So work done to displace the particle through a small displacement ds due to this force F1 is equal to this one. Therefore, total work done in displacing the body from A to B total work done in displacing the body from A to B due to the force F1 is equal to integral dW. Between which limits we have to do integration? Whenever the particle is displaced from A to B, as here variable is only theta, whenever the particle displaces like this, only theta value varies. R value does not change, F1 magnitude does not change. Direction may be changed, but value does not change. That's why F1 are constants, only theta varies. So when particle displaces from A to B, whenever particle lies at A, theta is equal to 0 degree. Theta is equal to 0 degree. When it displaces to B, then angular displacement is equal to 90 degree. That's why theta is equal to pi by 2. Okay, therefore pi by 2 or 90, of course 90 you write, because we have substituted 45 degree now. So 90 you write. $90 degree. Okay, this is equal to integral 0 to 90 degree F1 r cos 45 degree minus theta by 2 into d theta. That is equal to F1r is constant, you write outside, into integral cos something. Cos of something means we can write sin something, no? Sin of 45 degree minus theta by 2 by, while doing integration here, instead of cos we have to write sin function into whatever the, as we are integrating with respect to theta, the coefficient of theta is minus 1 by 2, no? That's why here we have to write by minus 1 by 2. It is the integration. Limits 0 to 90. So this is equal to minus 2 into F1r we can write, okay, of first upper limit. Instead of theta you substitute 90, then sin 45 degree minus 90 by 2. Before substituting lower limit you put minus sign. Minus sin 45 minus 0 means sin 45. Okay, this is equal to minus 2 F1r into sin, it is 0. 0 minus 1 by root 2. Okay, therefore work done in moving the particle from A to B along the quadrant of the circle is equal to minus plus 2 F1r by root 2, means root 2 F1r, no? Root 2 F1r. This is the work done in displacing the particle from A to B. When the force acts on the particle is always towards the fixed point B. That is the case. In this way, we have to calculate the work done. Okay, Mani Teja, what is your doubt, Mani Teja? Mani Teja.
Sir. Sir. అక్కడ మైనస్ 1/2 వచ్చింది డినామినేటర్ లో. మైనస్ థీటా బై 2 కి డిఫరెన్షియేషన్ చేయాలి సార్, లేకపోతే ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ చేయాలి?
మైనస్ థీటా, మనం ఇంటిగ్రేట్ ఇక్కడ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ అంటే ఈ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ కాదు మనం చేస్తా ఉంది. ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఎట్లా వస్తుందంటే, ఆఫ్టర్ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ ఆఫ్ కొసైన్ ఫంక్షన్ యు రైట్ సైన్ ఫంక్షన్ ఇంటూ హియర్ ద కోఎఫిషియంట్ ఆఫ్ theta must be written in denominator after integration. Now we are not doing directly integral theta d theta. We are not doing directly integral theta, integral 45 minus theta by 2 into d theta. We are integrating this one. After integration, what we have to do means, after integration of this cosine function in the angle, whatever the coefficient of theta, we have to write in the denominator. That is the formula, no? That is the principle, no?
Yes.
Okay. What, Ganesh, what do you need? Ganesh. Sai Ganesh. సాయి గణేష్
సార్ ఇంకోసారి ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయరా?
అంటే ఎక్కడ అర్థం కాలే? ఇంకోసారి అంటే అట్లా కదా, మొత్తం కాదు, ఎక్కడ ఏ పాయింట్ అర్థం కాలేదు ఆ పాయింట్ చెప్తే ఎక్కడ అర్థం కాల
అంటే అక్కడ యాంగిల్ ఆల్ఫా తీసుకున్నారు కదా,
ఆ పాయింటా? ఒకసారి చూడు, విను. ఇక్కడ ఎట్ దిస్ మనకి ఇక్కడ ఫస్ట్ అసలు వెన్ ఎవర్ ద పార్టికల్ రీచెస్ ద పాయింట్ సి, ఎట్ ద టైమ్ యాంగులర్ డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ది పార్టికల్ ఇస్ థీటా. ఓకే, యూ కుడ్ అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్ వన్. పార్టికల్ ఏ నుంచి సి అనే పాయింట్ దగ్గరికి వచ్చినప్పుడు డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ది పార్టికల్ ఇస్ ఈక్వల్ టు థీటా. ఓకేనా? యూ డోంట్ అన్మ్యూట్, యూ You respond to my questions. Sai Ganesh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, whenever the particle travels from A to C, the particle has displaced through an angle theta. Okay. Now
Okay.
at this point, the displacement of the particle or velocity of the particle is always along the tangential direction to the circular path. No, the
Yes.
circular path kada, path arc of the circle kada, along the tangential direction our particle like velocity ఉంటుంది ఇక్కడ. Whenever the
Yes.
same particle comes to this position along the tangential direction, its velocity is there. So at this point, its velocity direction is along tangential. So along the tangential direction only displacement is also there. Okay. Velocity ఏ డైరెక్షన్ ఉంటుందో ఆ డైరెక్షన్ లోనే డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ కూడా ఉంటుంది. బట్ ద ఫోర్స్ యాక్ట్స్ ఆన్ ది పార్టికల్ ఎట్ దట్ ఇన్స్టెంట్ ఈజ్ ఆల్వేస్ టువర్డ్స్ ద పాయింట్ బి. కాబట్టి దీని మీద పనిచేసే ఫోర్స్ ఎప్పుడు కూడా టువర్డ్స్ బి తీసుకోవాలి. అయితే ఇన్ ఆర్డర్ టు ఫైండ్ ద వర్క్ డన్, డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ ఏమో ఇటువైపు ఉంది, ఫోర్స్ ఏమో ఇటువైపు ఉంది. దే ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్ డైరెక్షన్స్. మరి వాట్ ఈస్ ద కాంపోనెంట్ ఆఫ్ ది డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ along component of the small displacement ds along this force direction? Because to find the work done, the force into component of the displacement along the direction of the force we have to write, or the displacement into component of the force along the direction of displacement we have to write. That is the case. Okay.
Yes.
So here you see, to find the displacement of component of displacement along the force or component of the force along the displacement, we need this angle. Okay.
Yes.
The angle call, that is our aim. So in just whenever the particle is at C, you draw the tangent here. From the point B also you draw the tangent. Then these two intersect at this point. ఈ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ ఇంటర్సెక్షన్ దగ్గర యాంగిల్ సపోజ్ బీటా అనుకోండి. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఆల్రెడీ టాంజెంట్ కాబట్టి హియర్ 90 డిగ్రీ. ఈ పాయింట్ ని సంటని జాయిన్ చేస్తే లైన్ కి టాంజెంట్ కి మధ్య యాంగిల్ 90 ఉంటుంది కదా.
Yes, sir.
తర్వాత బి అనే పాయింట్ దగ్గర సర్క్యులర్ పాత్ కి ఇక్కడ ఒక టాంజెంట్ డ్రా చేస్తాం. ఆ టాంజెంట్ కి దీనికి మధ్య యాంగిల్ కూడా 90 కదా. ఇది ఒక ట్రిపీజియం. ఇది చూడండి సార్, ఇది క్వాడ్రిలేటరల్. ఈ క్వాడ్రిలేటర్ లో 4 కార్నర్స్ దగ్గర టోటల్ యాంగిల్స్ మొత్తం 360 డిగ్రీ ఉండాలి. ఇది 90 90 180 పోతే ఈ బీటా అండ్ దిస్ యాంగిల్ 90 minus theta, sum of these two must be 180. No, so 90 minus theta plus beta is equal to 180. Then beta is equal to something we got. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next, in this triangle ఈ సిమెట్రిక్ గా ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ ఆల్ఫా అయితే ఇక్కడ కూడా ఆల్ఫా ఉంటుంది.
Yes,
ఇది
sir.
సిమెట్రిక్ గా ఉంటుంది, ఇది ఆల్ఫా ఆల్ఫా, ఇది బీటా. బీటా ప్లస్ 2 ఆల్ఫా is equal to 180 కావాలిగా.
Yes, sir.
దాని నుంచి ఆల్ఫా is equal to మనకి వాల్యూ వచ్చిందిగా.
Okay.
ఓకే, నీకు ఇది అర్థం అవుతుందా? ఓకేనా,
Thank you, sir.
రైట్, వెల్కమ్. Okay, therefore WAB is equal to √2 into F1 into R. So this is the work done to displace the particle from A to B. Okay. Next, it is the case A. Next, case B. Shall I erase this one? Have you noted this one? How symmetric, Kamal. Okay, here they asked how symmetric. You see, this is the tangent drawn at this point, this is the tangent drawn at this point. These two are perpendicular and tangents are drawn. That's why angle between this and this is 90, this and this is 90. Okay, then if you construct the quadrilateral here, as it is 90 90, definitely it is beta, it is beta and it is 90 minus theta. Sum of these two is 180 definitely. ఎందుకంటే టోటల్ 360 కదా, ఇక్కడ 90 90 180 పోయిందంటే డెఫినెట్లీ రిమైనింగ్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ టూ ఆపోజిట్ యాంగిల్స్ ఇస్ ఈక్వల్ టు 180. సో 180. అయితే ఇక్కడ ఆల్ఫా, ఇది ఆల్ఫా ఎందుకన్నాం? హియర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ద టాంజెంట్ అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ద టాంజెంట్. దోస్ టూ ఇంటర్సెక్ట్ at this point. As it is a part of the circle, when you draw the tangents and if you consider the intersecting point here, whatever the length of this point from this point be also same. That's why these two are same length. So it becomes isosceles triangle. Or in other words, this length and this length both are same. That's why when you draw the tangents, definitely you will get the symmetric. These two lines are symmetric about this. That's why if it is alpha, this is also equal to alpha. Okay. Okay, right. AB is equal to root 2 R. Okay, okay. Here, actually, if you take the distance root 2 R, F1 is not along F1 is not along AB, no? F1 is not along AB. F1 is not along AB. If F1 is along AB, then directly root 2 R into force F1. That gives the answer. But F1 is not along AB. That's why we did like this. Of course, we may get the answer same. Okay, we should not do like that directly. If F1 is the conservative force, then we can write like that. But F1 is conservative force like that, it is not mentioned. That's why you have to do like this only. Okay, of course, in order to remember the answer, we can remember like that. We can remember that method also. But actually, we should not do the problem like that. Okay, right. Next. Next B bit. When F2 force acts on the particle, always along horizontal. When F2 force acts on the particle always along horizontal, then work done by that force to travel the particle from A to B is equal to how much? When the force acts on the particle is always along horizontal direction, that means like this. Suppose when the particle is here, the direction of motion of the particle is in this direction, whereas the force acts on the particle is always along horizontal, like this. So whenever the particle travels from this position to this position, along the direction of applied force, what is the displacement of the particle? When the particle travels from A to B, along the direction of applied force, what is the displacement of the particle? Initially particle is here, finally particle reaches the point here. So along the direction of applied force, the displacement means from A to B along this direction. That is equal to radius only, no? Therefore, in this case, work done is equal to WAB is equal to force into displacement of the particle along the direction of applied force when it travels from A to B is equal to simply AO. AO means R. AO. That is equal to F2 R. This is the work done. So WAB in this case is equal to F2 R. Okay, next C. When force F3 acts on the particle always along tangential direction. Always along tangential direction. When the force acts on the particle always along the tangential direction, then what is the work done to travel the particle from A to B? In this case, what is the work done? So here also we have to draw the diagram first. Okay, so here you see, whenever the particle at any instant of time, whenever the particle is here, the direction of motion of the particle is in this direction. Velocity is in this direction or displacement is in this direction. Along the tangential direction only, the force F3 is also there. Always, suppose when the particle is here, the tangential direction is this one, the force acts on the particle is also along the tangential direction only. That means the force acts on the particle is always along tangential direction. Along the direction of up here in second case, whenever the particle travels from A to B, whenever the particle is at A here, when it reaches the point B, the displacement of the particle along the direction of applied force means this one, you know, applied force is in this direction. Along the direction of applied force, whenever the particle travels from this point to this point, displacement along the direction of applied force means this only, no, that is equal to R. Okay. So here, whenever the force acts on the particle along the tangential direction, always, suppose to displace the particle through a small distance along this arc, along the arc here, to displace the particle through a small distance ds, the force acts on the particle along the direction of displacement is F3. Therefore, work done to displace the particle through a small distance is equal to force into displacement directly. Force into displacement ds directly, because displacement is along tangential direction at that point, and force is also always along tangential direction only. That's why F3 ds cos 0, that means F3 ds. Therefore, total work done displace the particle from A to B is equal to integral dw. Limits from A to B, we have to integrate. Integral F3 into ds. Limits, as we are integrating with respect to distance along the arc of the circle. Whenever the particle is here, displacement of the particle is 0. Whenever along the arc, whenever the particle reaches the point, the distance traveled along the tangential path is equal to length of this arc, no, that is equal to s is equal to pi r by 2, no. 1/4 quadrant of the circle means 1/4 of the circumference. 2 pi r by 4 means pi r by 2, no. Therefore, this is equal to F3, you write outside, into integral ds means s, limits 0 to pi r by 2. Therefore, work done in this process is equal to F3 into pi r by 2. That is equal to pi F3 r by 2. So this is the formula for work done in this case. It is a formula for work done in this case. Okay, note down all of you. F3 into pi r by 2. Okay. Shall I write this one? Okay. I will upload in YouTube also. Next one. Okay, right. So in this, note points are completed. Some important note points are completed. While doing some problems, we may get different approaches also. Okay, next, first kinetic energy. We have to derive what is kinetic energy, and we have to derive the formula for kinetic energy. Of course, formula you may know, kinetic energy, say K. The energy possessed by the body by virtue of its motion is called kinetic energy. The energy possessed by the body or energy acquired by the body because of its velocity is called the kinetic energy of a body. Because to acquire the kinetic energy only when the bullet is fired from the gun. Here, in order to fire the when bullet is fired from the gun, then it come out with certain velocity. Then only that bullet injures the human body. The bullet injures the body. That means in order to injure the body, the bullet must be having some kinetic energy. So in order to impart the kinetic energy to the bullet, it must be fired from the gun. Otherwise, suppose if you keep the bullet and just you keep like this, is it injures our body? No. Whenever that bullet comes with certain kinetic energy, then only it injures our body. So to acquire that kinetic energy, we have to fire from the gun. Okay, then only it acquires some velocity so that it possesses some kinetic energy. So because of its motion or by virtue of its motion, whatever the energy possessed, that is called the kinetic energy of a body. Balaji, stop your video sharing. Balaji. So the energy possessed by the body by virtue of its motion is called kinetic energy of a body. Now, energy possessed by the body. Energy possessed by the body due to its motion or by virtue of its motion, due to its motion is called kinetic energy. Okay, now we have to derive the formula for kinetic energy. How we can calculate means, you see, suppose there is a body. There is a body. Okay, here, suppose by applying some force along the direction of its motion, initially the body is at rest. Whenever the body has displaced through certain distance here due to the application of force, the body acquires a velocity v. Okay, then whenever a force is applied on a body so that it has displaced through certain distance, then the body acquires some velocity. So to acquire the velocity by this body, whatever the work done by this force on a body, that is gained by the body in the form that is stored in the body as the kinetic energy. So by doing some work here, whenever the body is pushed with a force F for certain time, in the time or for certain displacement of a body, when you apply the constant force on a body through certain distance, whatever the velocity acquired by the body, to acquire that much velocity, whatever the work done by this applied force on a body, that work done by the applied force on a body is stored in the body as the kinetic energy. Okay, now we have to find what is the work done by this applied force on a body. Whatever the work we had find what work done by applied force on a body in order to displace it through a distance. Yes. Okay, now you see initial velocity is 0 for this body. As suppose the mass of the body is say m. When you apply the force on a body here, then acceleration of a body is equal to force by mass. Displacement of the body is s. After it has covered a displacement s, then velocity acquired by the body is say v. Okay, then what is the relation among them? From v square minus u square is equal to v square minus u square is equal to 2as. No, v square we have to find, minus u means 0, 2 into a means f by m into s means s only. Okay, so this is equal, therefore from this s is equal to, we can write mv square by 2 into f. No, by applying the constant force on a body, the body has displaced through a distance s along the direction of applied force. Therefore, what is the work done by applied force? Work done by applied force is equal to, general formula is fs cos theta. F means f only, s only, into cos. Theta means applied force is in this direction and displacement is also in the same direction, equal to s. That's why cos 0. That is equal to f into s. This is equal to f into, what about the displacement of the body? mv square by 2f. ff cancel. Therefore, work done by the applied force on a body, is equal to, w is equal to mv square by 2 or half mv square. This is equal to kinetic energy of a body. So work done by the applied force on a body in order to start the motion, work done by applied force on a body with the initial velocity 0. Whatever the work done by the applied force on a body to start the motion in a body is stored in the body as the kinetic energy. That's why work done is equal to kinetic energy. So energy possessed by the body because of its motion is called kinetic energy. Mathematically, it can be derived as by calculating the work done by applied force on a body to displace the body through certain distance. Whatever the work done by the body starting from rest, then such work done is stored in the body as the kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. From this formula, here kinetic energy means it is nothing but work done only. Work done is measured in SI system. Work done is measured in joules. work done is equal to, here you see, SI unit. SI unit of work, joule. Joule or Newton meter, because work done is equal to force into displacement. Force means Newton, displacement means meter. It is in SI system. Celsius unit. Celsius unit is erg. Celsius unit of work is erg. Okay, what is the relation between joule and erg? Of course, this can also be written as R. Newton means we can write kilogram meter per second square now, because Newton means it is the force unit. Force means MA. M means kilogram, A means meter per second square. Into meter is there, that means meter square. Kilogram meter square per second square, or Newton meter, or joule. The unit equivalent to joule is kilogram meter square per second square, or erg. In CS system, the unit of this work done is equal to erg. Okay, what is the relation between erg and joule? 1 joule is equal to, 1 joule means kilogram, 1 kilogram meter square per second square. 1 kilogram meter square per second square. That is equal to 1 into kilogram means 10 to the power of 3 gram, into meter means 100 centimeter square is there, 100 square centimeter square. Okay, by second square. In both the units, time is seconds only. So this is equal to 1 joule is equal to 10 to the power of 3 into 10 to the power of 4. That means 10 to the power of 7 gram centimeter square per second square. You see, in CS system, CS unit of the work done means, in SI system kilogram, in CS system gram. Meter means here centimeter, second means second. So gram centimeter per square per second square means it is the CS unit of the work done. That is equal to erg, no? That's why 1 joule is equal to 10 to the power of 7 erg we can write. 1 joule is equal to 10 to the power of 7 erg. It is the SI unit of the work done. The kinetic energy is also nothing but work done only, no? The total work done on the body in acquiring some velocity is stored in the body as the kinetic energy. That's why kinetic energy is also nothing but work done only. That's why kinetic energy is also having same unit. SI unit of work or energy, both are same. Work or any kind of energy, that is kinetic energy or any type of energy. Okay, 1 joule is equal to 10 to the power of 7 erg. Next, practical units of energy. Practical unit of energy. Here, energy is also measured in kilowatt hour. Kilowatt hour. Kilowatt hour. So symbol kilowatt hour. Okay, 1 kilowatt hour is equal to, kilo means 10 to the power of 3. Watt means joule per second. Hour means 60 minutes into 60 seconds. Second cancel. So this is equal to 36 into 10 to the power of 5 joule. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 36 into 10 to the power of 5 joule. So it is the practical unit of the energy. The electrical energy consumption is measured in kilowatt hour. The electrical energy consumption, మన ఇళ్లలో household supply, household electrical supply వాళ్ళు every month they give the bill to us. In that bill, what is the electrical energy consumed in that month? That is measured in units. So we consumed 400 units power or some 1000 units power, like that. They are measured in units. They are measured in units. 1 unit is equal to 1 kilowatt hour. 1 unit is equal to 1 kilowatt hour. Suppose if your bill is for 400 units, మన జనరల్ గా మన లాంగ్వేజ్ లో 400 యూనిట్స్ కాలింది అంటాం. ఈ మంత్ పవర్ ఎంత వచ్చింది, పవర్ బిల్ ఎంత వచ్చిందంటే 400 యూనిట్స్ కాలింది అంటాం. డ్యూరింగ్ సమ్మర్ 1000 యూనిట్స్ కాలింది అంటాం. కాలటం అంటే కన్జంప్షన్, అంత వాడుకున్నాము అని. ఓకే, 1 యూనిట్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 1 kilowatt hour. So whatever the number of units consumed, that much kilowatt hour electrical energy is consumed in that month. Okay, 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 36 into 10 to the power of 5 joule. Next, one more practical unit is also there, electron volt. Electron volt. ఈ ఎలక్ట్రాన్ వోల్ట్ ని మనం స్మాల్ ఈ క్యాపిటల్ వి తో రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తాం. 1 electron volt. 1 electron volt means it is the lowest unit of energy. ఎనర్జీకి డిఫరెంట్ యూనిట్స్ ఉన్నాయండి, దాంట్లో లోయెస్ట్ యూనిట్ ఆఫ్ ఎనర్జీ ఏదంటే ఎలక్ట్రాన్ వోల్ట్. 1 electron volt is equal to, how we can remember means, 1 electron volt is equal to whatever the charge of the electron. 1 electron volt is equal to whatever the charge of the 1 electron volt is equal to whatever the charge of the electron, that much joules. Charge of the electron means 1.6 into 10 power of minus 19 joules, minus 19, no? That much joules is equal to 1 electron volt. This electron volt is the lowest unit of energy. Electron volt is the lowest unit of energy. So electron volt is the lowest unit of energy. Electron volt is the lowest unit of energy. So work done and energy both are measured in the same units. Okay. So this is the formula for kinetic energy. Now in these note points, in this kinetic energy, 2-3 note points are there, we will discuss. So in this kinetic energy note point, is kinetic energy a scalar or vector? Is kinetic energy a scalar or vector? It is a scalar quantity. So kinetic energy is a scalar. It has no direction but it has magnitude. Second one, dimension formula of kinetic energy. Dimension formula, I think I said in the units and dimensions. Dimension formula of energy, any kind of energy, not only kinetic energy, any kind of energy, that is equal to dimension formula of work done. That is equal to, already work done వాటికి dimension formula చెప్పాను నేను, ml square t to the power of minus 2. Work done means force into displacement. Dimension formula of force is ml t to the power of minus 2 into displacement means L. ml square t to the power of minus 2 is the dimension formula of work done. విజయ్ నేను డిలీట్ చేస్తున్నారా, రిమూవ్ చేసేస్తున్నా, ఎప్పుడు 24 hours ఓపెన్ చేసి చూస్తా కూర్చోవటమే. ఓకే, విజయ్ రిమూవ్ ఫ్రమ్ ది క్లాస్. వాడు కూడా రెడీగా ఉన్నాడు బాయ్. ఇప్పుడే చెప్తాను నీకు, వీడియో షేర్ చేద్దని చెప్పానా, మైండ్ లేదా మీకు? ఓకే, dimension formula of energy is equal to ml square t to the power of minus 2. Okay, next, relation between linear momentum small p and kinetic energy k, and kinetic energy say k. You see, momentum p is equal to mass into velocity. Kinetic energy is equal to half m into v square. Okay, so kinetic energy k is equal to m by 2 into velocity, means from this formula velocity can be written as p by m. No, velocity can be written as p by m. Square is there, so p by m whole square. Therefore kinetic energy is equal to, you will get, after simplification you will get p square by m square. M square cancels, so p square by 2m. So kinetic energy and momentum relation is this one. Or kinetic energy k is equal to, instead of 1 m into 1 v, you write p. So half p into v we can write. No, this can be written as half m into, as the velocity is vector quantity, we can write v bar dot v bar. Or this is one more formula. Or in other words, kinetic energy k is equal to half m into v, means we can write p into v. So half p into v we can write. This is also formula for kinetic energy only, because p means mv, mv into v means mv square, half mv square. Okay, we can write the kinetic energy in different ways like this. Next, whenever the compare manosless గా బిహేవ్ చేస్తారేంట్రా, Okay. Fourth one, whenever the momentum of the body increases by 10%, whatever the percentage change in the kinetic energy of a body, they may ask. When momentum of the body means linear momentum. When momentum of the body increases by 10%, then kinetic energy increases by what percent? Kinetic energy increases by dash percentage, they may ask. In such a way they may ask. Okay, so change in momentum is given, change in kinetic energy they asked, percentage change in kinetic energy they asked. Okay, so we have to obtain the relation between kinetic energy and momentum. Kinetic energy momentum relation means we can write this one now, because m is constant. That's why kinetic energy is equal to p square by 2m. Here m is constant, that implies kinetic energy is directly proportional to momentum square. No, kinetic energy is directly proportional to momentum square. Okay, therefore you see, as percentage change in the momentum is 10%, increase by 10% means whenever the percentage change is greater than 5%, all of you listen carefully, whenever the percentage change is greater than 5%, when percentage change is greater than 5%, in this case k is proportional to p square. That's why in that case we have to write k1 by k2 is equal to p1 by p2 whole square. Implies k1 by k2 is equal to, initial momentum is say 100. As the momentum increases by 10%, then this p2 becomes 100 plus 10. Square is there, square. So k1 by k2 is equal to 100 by 110. That means 10 by 11 whole square. As momentum is increased by 10%, if initial momentum is 100, final momentum is 100 plus 10. If the momentum decreases by 10%, 100 minus 10 we have to write. Okay, this is equal to 100 by 121. Okay, therefore percentage change in kinetic energy they asked. Percentage change in kinetic energy means final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy whole by initial kinetic energy into 100. That is equal to, split them, k2 by k1 minus 1 into 100. That is equal to k2 by k1 means 121 by 100. K2 by K1 is equal to 121 by 100 minus 1 into 100. Therefore, K2 minus K1 by K1 into 100 is equal to, when you take LCM, 21 by 100 into 100. So 21%. So the kinetic energy increased by 21%. In this way, we have to do. The kinetic energy increased by 21%. Okay. So therefore, as we got the positive value, therefore kinetic energy increased by 21%, we have to write. If minus we got, then kinetic energy decreased by 21%, we have to write. Kinetic energy decreased by 21%. Okay. Suppose if the percentage change in momentum is less than 5%, in such case, how we can do? Fifth one, when percentage change in linear momentum is 3%, percentage change means percentage increase. When percentage change in linear momentum is 3%, less than 5%, comma, then percentage change in kinetic energy is equal to dash. Here you see, percentage change in linear momentum is given, percentage change in kinetic energy they asked. So we have to obtain the relation between kinetic energy and momentum first. Percentage change in linear momentum is given, percentage change in kinetic energy they asked. That's why we have to obtain the relation between kinetic energy and momentum. Kinetic energy K is equal to P square by 2m now. So m does not change. Mass of the given body remains constant. So kinetic energy is proportional to P square. here as the percentage change in momentum is less than 5%. If it is greater than 5%, we have to follow like this. But it is less than 5%. In such case, you see, k here k power 1 is k power 1 no. That's why 1 into delta k by k is equal to power 2 into delta p by p. In this way, we have to write. So percentage change in kinetic energy they asked. That's why delta k by k into 100. Change in kinetic energy by initial kinetic energy into 100. That is equal to into 100. Here also you write into 100. That is equal to 2 into delta p by p into 100. This is equal to 2 into percentage change in momentum is given as 3%. That's why you write 3. Therefore, percentage change in kinetic energy is delta k by k into 100. That is equal to 6%. That is the answer. So in this way, when the percentage change in momentum is given as less than 5%, in such case, we have to follow this procedure. If it is greater than 5%, we have to follow this procedure. 10% means it is greater than 5%. No, it is greater than 5%. That's why we have to follow this method. Okay. Next. Sixth one, kinetic energy is equal to p square by 2m. Of course, mass is constant. Then if you draw the graph between kinetic energy and momentum, kinetic energy is taken along y-axis and momentum is taken along x-axis. What is the type of the graph you will get? Here you see 1 by 2m means that is constant. That's why constant a we can write into p square. Okay, k is equal to a into p square. It is just like k is taken along y-axis. That's why k is equal to y is equal to a into p is taken along x-axis. That's why instead of p write x. Square is there, x square. So what is the nature of the graph between y and x? What is the nature of the graph? Parabola. Because there are two variables k and p. In between k and p, one variable is having square. Here to draw the graph between k and p, first we have to obtain the relation between k and p. That is this one. So while drawing the graph here, in between two variables k and p, p is having square. So one of the variables is having square means definitely we will get a parabola. In which direction parabola is to be opened? Of course, when p is equal to 0, k is equal to 0. That's why parabola must be passing through the origin. That is first point. As square is for p, parabola must be open towards kinetic energy axis. That is second point. Kinetic energy axis means the parabola may be like this or parabola may be like this. Okay, as the coefficient of p square or k, that is positive. That's why parabola must be open towards positive kinetic energy axis, like this. Okay, this is the parabola, right? It is open towards positive kinetic energy axis. In this way, we can find. Okay, this is about kinetic energy. Next, work energy theorem. Work energy theorem. Very, very important one. Yesterday, most of the students asked me the third problem. If you know the work energy theorem, then third problem is nothing to you. You can do directly. Okay. So, yeah, if negative is coefficient of k, p square is negative, definitely we have to take the graph downwards. Okay. So, work energy theorem. Here, initially, suppose a body move with a velocity u in one direction. Initially, a body of certain mass m moving with certain velocity say u in one direction. On that body, due to different forces, works are done by pseudo force, by applied for external force, by normal reaction, by weight or gravitational force on the body, by frictional force, works are done. So the net work done by all the forces on a body, because of net work done by all the forces on a body, suppose the kinetic energy changes, increases to half mv square. Kinetic energy increases to half mv square. You see here, on horizontal surface, suppose a block of mass m is kept, mass m. Initially, it is travel with a velocity u. So because here number of forces acts on the body in different directions, so that the net force acts on the body is in this direction, say net force. Okay, because of this net force acts on the body acquires the velocity v after some time. The velocity of the body becomes say v. Then what is the final kinetic energy of a body? Half m into v square. Initial kinetic energy of a body, half m into u square. So change in kinetic energy of a body means final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. So because of this network, because of net force here, net work done on the body to travel from this point to this point, that net work done on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body. That's why net work done by all the forces on a body, the net work done by all the force on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body. Here, because of different forces acts on a body, the net work done by all the forces on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body. Okay, therefore, net work done means here work may be done due to normal reaction, work done may be due to gravitational force, work done due to friction, work done due to pseudo force, work done due to pseudo force. In this way, there are different forces acts on the body in different directions. So you find the algebraic sum of all the work done on the body. So this is the net work done. This net work done on the body is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body, half mv square minus half mv square. This is the work statement of the work energy theorem. The work done by unbalanced force on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy, we can say, or the work done, net work done by all the forces on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body. This is the statement of the work energy theorem. Okay, so here we have to prove them. So now proof, because it is for IP point of view, this derivation is important for 4 marks question. Okay, so now we have to prove. Initially, the body travel with a velocity u. Initially, the body travel with a velocity u in forward direction with a velocity u. Mass of the body is m. Suppose on the body, a net force F is applied on the body along the direction of its motion. Then after it has traveled some distance, yes, the velocity of the body becomes say v. Then what is the work done by this force on the body? Work done by the force on the body, W is equal to Fs cos theta. Fs cos. Force is in the same direction and displacement also in the same direction. Because of net force on a body, net force acts on a body, the body always travel along the direction of the applied force. That's why Fs into cos, angle between force and displacement is 0 and 0. It is the net work done by all the forces on a body. Okay, this is equal to F into S. Okay, because of here, whenever the net force, unbalanced force or net force acts on a body, then net force is equal to, we can write mass into acceleration of the body. F is equal to ma into displacement S. Okay, this is equation 1. But as the constant net force acts on a body here, the body travel with uniform acceleration. So initial velocity is u, uniform acceleration, that is equal to a. Okay, final velocity is v, displacement is s. Then what is the relation among them? V square minus u square is equal to 2as, we can write. V square means v square only. Okay, from this a is equal to, how we can write? V square minus u square by 2 into s. You substitute this acceleration formula in equation 1. Therefore, 2 in 1 gives work done is equal to, or net work done is equal to, MAS is the formula. M into A means V square minus U square by 2S. Okay. Into A means we have substituted this one into S. SS cancel. Therefore, work done is equal to mv square by 2 minus mu square by 2, or half mv square minus half mu square. So net work done by all the forces on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body. Net work done by all the forces on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body. Net work done by all the forces on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body. Okay, now related to this work energy theorem, some note points. First one, when the body travel with uniform speed, when the body travel with uniform speed, that means uniform speed means initial velocity, final velocity, all are same. There is no change in the velocity. That's why net work done is equal to 0, no? Net work done is equal to 0. Okay, next one. Here this formula can be written as work done is equal to half into, as the velocity is a vector quantity, we can write v bar dot v bar. V square can be written as v bar dot v bar minus half into m into u square can be written as u bar dot u bar. Okay, half m into v bar dot v bar means v square, u bar dot u bar means u square. That's why this work done can be written as like this also. So this is the work energy theorem. By using work energy theorem, we can write like this. Okay. Next. We have to discuss some more points. In case of work energy theorem, we'll discuss some more points. Okay, next. Okay, that work energy theorem concept is over. Those 2 points are enough. Okay, now potential energy. Anybody else can say potential energy? Energy possessed by the body by virtue of its position, that means due to its position or due to its configuration or shape, due to configuration or shape, that is called the potential energy of the body. Here, in case of the wall clock, suppose when you, of course, nowadays we are using electronic watches, electronic clocks, which runs with the bad cell. But in previous olden days, when you give some key to that clock, then that will run. In such case, every day or every after 2 days, we have to give some key to that wall clock. Then only it will run. Okay, in such cases, when you give key like this, then the spring is there inside the wall clock. Okay, when you give key like this, then the spring inside the clock is wounded. It is wounded tightly. Whenever it is wounded, because of its configuration or shape, that spring acquires some energy, which is called potential energy. With that potential energy, again slowly it loses their potential energy by rotating the needles in the wall clock. In such a way, mechanism is there. In such a way, mechanism is there. That's why, in order to impart or give some potential energy to the spring in a clock, we give some key. That energy supplied to the spring in the wall clock, that consumes by the clock to rotate the needles in the clock. Okay, that is the reason why we give keys some to the spring in the clock. So in that case, because of its shape or because of its configuration, the spring possesses some energy. So energy possessed by the body by virtue of its position or configuration or shape or size, that is called potential energy of a body. Position means height only, no? The energy possessed by the body by virtue of its position means at what height the body is there. Based on that height, the body possesses some kind of potential energy. Okay, so energy possessed by the body because of or due to, because of its position and configuration or shape or size. It is also called as the configuration. The energy possessed by the body by virtue because of its position and shape or size, which is called configuration, is called potential energy. That is represented with capital U. Okay, therefore, suppose one example we will discuss, body earth system. Suppose this is the earth. It is earth. A body is kept at certain height. A body of mass small m is kept at certain height. This height of the body from the surface of the earth, radius of the earth is a Kepler. Radius of the earth is Kepler. Here we have to discuss the case whenever h is by far less than Kepler. The height at which the body is kept is very small when compared with radius of the earth. In such case only, the height of the body from the surface of the earth is very small when compared with the radius of the earth. In such case only we are discussing in this chapter. Of course, another chapter is there, that is the gravitation, in which the height of the body from the surface of the earth is comparable with the radius of the earth. That is the different case. But in this chapter, we are having only the height at which the body lies is very much less compared with the radius of the earth. Okay, now suppose when you release the body from this point, when you release the body from this point, some work is done by the gravity, no? Because earth attracts the body in downwards direction. The earth attracts the body in downwards direction with a force equal to mg, where g is the acceleration due to gravity on the surface of the earth. If the acceleration due to gravity on the surface of the earth is g, then even on this body also acceleration due to gravity is g only, because the height of the body from the surface of the earth is very small compared with radius. That's why the acceleration due to gravity acts on the body at this point, at this point, at this point, or even on the surface of the earth also. G value remains same because height of the body from the surface of the earth is very small. If height of the body from the surface of the earth is comparable with radius, then G value changes. G value changes. That's why we are not considering that case. That case we can discuss in gravitation chapter, not here. So the height is very small compared with the radius of the earth. In such case, the acceleration due to gravity acts on the body at any time remains constant, which is equal to c. So when body is kept at certain height, the earth attracts the body with certain force, that is action. According to Newton's second law, at the same time, this body also attracts the earth towards them with the gravitational force of attraction. Whatever the force with which earth attracts the body also attracts the earth with the same force in upward direction. Force is same. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. As the mass of the earth is very, very, very large, then acceleration is very, very, very small, can be ignored. That means zero. That means because of gravitational force of attraction acts on the earth due to this particle, earth cannot move towards this one. But the same force, ఈ m mass వలన ఎర్త్ మీద ఎంత ఫోర్స్ అయితే పనిచేస్తుందో, because of this mass m, whatever the gravitational force of attraction acts on the earth, due to earth also same gravitational force acts on the particle. But as the mass of the particle is very less, then because of that gravitational force, the particle attracts towards the surface of the earth with acceleration g. That is called acceleration due to gravity. That's why the earth, because of gravitational force of attraction, the particle comes towards the surface of the earth. The particle comes towards the surface of the earth. In this case, is the work done by gravitational force of attraction on the particle is positive or negative? Here on the particle displaces towards the surface of the earth. That's why displacement is in downwards direction. Gravitational force also acts on the particle in the same direction. Then what is the work done by gravitational force on the particle? Is it positive or negative? Positive. Therefore, work done by gravitational force of attraction, work done by gravitational force of attraction on particle, gravitational force of attraction, which is also called as the weight of the particle, weight on the particle is positive. Okay, whenever work done by the gravitational force of attraction acts on the particle is positive, that indicates the particle comes down. When particle comes down, the height of the particle from the surface of the earth decreases, no? The height of the particle from the surface of the earth decreases. Then only work done by gravity is positive on the particle. Whenever the work done by the gravitational force on the particle is positive, that represents the particle comes down. That means that it represents the particle coming towards the surface of the earth. Due to that, height of the particle from the surface of the earth decreases. When height decreases, position decreases. When position decreases, then we can say the energy of the particle due to gravitational force of attraction decreases. Okay, that's why the work done by gravity, that means WG is equal to, because of this work done, as the work done by gravity is positive, the particle comes down. Suppose whenever the particle comes to this position, initially whenever the particle is here, initial potential energy is say Ui. Whenever the particle reaches the surface of the earth, say potential energy is say Uf, because the energy possessed by the particle due to its position means from the surface of the earth, as it is at certain height, the particle possesses some energy. The energy possessed by the particle by virtue of its position or due to its position is called potential energy. That's why whenever the particle is here, the potential energy say Ui, it is the initial potential energy. So because of work done by the gravitational force on the particle, which is positive, the particle reaches the surface of the earth. That means the particle is at less height. That's why the energy possessed by the particle due to attraction force of earth on the particle, the potential energy becomes reduced. That is reduced to Uf. So it is the final potential energy. As the work done by gravity is positive, then the potential energy decreases. The potential energy decreases. So whatever the decrease in potential energy, that is the work done by gravity. So Ui minus Uf. This is the work done by gravity. Okay. Generally, of course, this is the change in potential energy. It is the decrease in potential energy. Generally, change in potential energy means we always write final potential energy minus initial potential energy. In general, change in any physical quantity means we will write final value minus initial value. That's why here also, in order to write like that, you write minus, you take common, Uf minus Ui, you write Uf minus Ui. Therefore, work done by gravity is equal to minus change in potential energy. We can write like this, no? Minus delta U. Delta U means, since delta U is equal to Uf minus Ui. So when you write delta U is equal to Uf minus Ui, then you will get this equation, and this can be written like this. Therefore, work done by gravity is equal to change in potential energy, negative of change in potential energy of the body. Work done by gravity is equal to negative of change in potential energy of a body. Okay. So now based on this, here you see, suppose the gravitational force acts on the body is say, okay, this is the work done by gravity is equal to change in potential energy of a body. Okay, now we have to derive the formula for potential energy of a body. Always the work done by gravity always gives the change in potential energy of a body. This is very, very important. Okay, now we have to derive the formula for potential energy of a body. From this work done by gravity, we can find the change in potential energy of a body. But here we have to derive the formula for potential energy of a body. Suppose you take the surface of the earth as the surface of the earth as the reference surface or reference body, a reference point. At that point, you take the potential energy of the body as 0. From which point we measure the height of the body or distance of the body. At that point, you imagine the potential energy of a body is 0. Actually, it is not equal to 0. But at the reference point, you imagine that the potential energy of the body is minimum or it is equal to say 0. Suppose whenever the body is at this point, then what is the potential energy? Uf, we have to find. That is our aim. Okay. Now you see, whenever the body is released from a height h, whenever the body is released from a height h, because when you release this body, because of gravitational force of attraction acts on the body, as this height is very small compared with radius of the earth, as the height of the body is very small compared with radius of the earth, then acceleration due to gravity acts on the body remains same throughout its motion before it reaches the ground. Okay, now what is the work done by gravity? Work done by gravity on the body when it travels from this point to this point. Gravitational force acts on the body in the same direction, and the displacement of the body also in the same direction. That's why Fs cos theta, general formula. F means gravitational force mg into S means h into cos, gravitational force in this direction and the displacement of the body also in the same direction here only. Okay, that's why cos 0. This is the work done by gravity, which is equal to mg into h. Work done by gravity is equal to mg into h, which is equal to, according to this formula, minus of change in potential energy. So mg h is equal to minus delta u means we can write uf minus ui. Uf minus ui. Change in potential energy is equal to minus of uf minus ui. Okay, initial potential energy is 0 now. Initial potential energy is 0. Therefore, final potential energy is equal to minus mgh. We can write now. Initial potential energy is equal to 0. So final potential energy is equal to minus mgh. Sorry, here we are moving in this direction now. It becomes initial potential energy. Here at this point, initial potential energy is this one. Here final potential energy is 0. Okay. We have to write like this. We are moving the body from this point to this point. So whatever the energy possessed by the body at this point, that is the initial potential energy. At this point, it is the final potential energy. Okay. So here, okay, you move the body upwards. You move the body upwards. Otherwise, suppose the body is displaced from the surface of the earth to a height h. So at the reference level or at the reference point, you consider the potential energy of the body is equal to 0. Okay. Now, when you move the body in this direction against the gravitational force, weight mg acts vertically down direction, whereas the displacement of the body is in upward direction. Okay, here it is the final potential energy. Okay, now what is the work done by gravity? Work done by gravity is called minus of change in potential energy, delta U. F means mg, S means the particle displaced from this position to this position through a distance h. Cos, angle between them, that is equal to 180 now. Mg downwards and displacement upwards, that's why 180. Okay, is equal to minus of final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Okay, therefore here minus cos 180 means minus 1. Minus mgh is equal to minus uf minus of minus plus ui. Ui means 0. Therefore, uf is equal to mg into h. That means when the body is at a height h, then the gain in potential energy of the body is equal to mgh. If you consider the potential energy at the surface of the earth is 0, then the potential energy of the body at a height h is equal to mgh. Actually, it is the gain in potential energy. If we consider the potential energy at this point is 0, then the potential energy of the body at a height is equal to h is equal to mgh. It is the final potential energy of the body. So therefore, potential energy of the body at a height h, when you take this as the reference line, is equal to mg into h. When height increases, potential energy of the body also increases. When height decreases, potential energy of the body also decreases. So here, potential energy means it is also one type of energy only. What is your doubt? Sai Keshav. Sai Keshav, what is your doubt? Sai Keshav, what is your doubt? Sai Keshav. Sai Keshav, what is your doubts?
Sir, how 180 degrees will come, sir? Not understood.
Suppose whenever the particle is here, the weight of the particle acts in downwards direction because Earth attracts the body downwards now.
Okay, sir.
The particle is moving upwards means displacement is upwards now.
Yes, sir.
The angle between them is 180 now.
Okay, sir.
Displacement downwards. For gravitational force is downwards. And the displacement S is equal to H is upwards. So angle between them is 180. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Right. Okay, right. So potential energy of a body when it is at a height H is equal to mgh. Potential energy means it is also nothing but energy. That's why in SI system it is measured in joules only. In SI system it is measured in joule only. Symbol capital J. And the dimension formula is same as kinetic energy or work. Dimension formula is also same. Energy, work, all are having same dimension formula, same units. Okay. This is the formula for potential energy of a body. Okay, next note point. Okay, next we have to discuss the conservative force and non-conservative forces, not note point. Next side heading. Conservative and non-conservative forces. Conservative and non-conservative forces. So first, conservative force. Conservative force means the work done by which force on a body does not depends on path followed. Then such type of force is called the conservative force. బాడీ మీద పనిచేసే ఏ ఫోర్స్ వల్ల జరిగే వర్క్ ఆ బాడీ ఏ పాత్ మీద ట్రావెల్ చేస్తా ఉంది అనే దాని మీద డిపెండ్ కాదో అటువంటి ఫోర్స్ ని మనం కన్జర్వేటివ్ ఫోర్స్ అంటాం. ద వర్క్ డన్ బై ద ఫోర్స్ ఆన్ ఏ బాడీ ఇఫ్ డస్ నాట్ డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ పాత్ ఫాలోడ్ అండ్ డిపెండ్స్ ఓన్లీ ఆన్ ది ఇనిషియల్ పొజిషన్ అండ్ ఫైనల్ పొజిషన్, దెన్ సచ్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఫోర్స్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ద కన్జర్వేటివ్ ఫోర్స్. For example, we will discuss one example so that you can understand very easily. One example I will discuss here. One example I will discuss here. If the force due to which the work done does not depends on path followed and depends only on initial and final points of body is called conservative force. One example we will see. Suppose there is a smooth inclined surface. There is a smooth inclined surface with angle of inclination theta. Height of the inclined surface is small h. One particle is kept at this point. One particle is kept on the top of the inclined plane. Here, length of the inclined plane is say L. One particle is kept on the top of the inclined plane. When you release them, initial velocity is 0. When you release them, then the particle slides down. As it is a smooth surface, it is the smooth surface. So the particle slides down and reaches the bottom of the inclined plane here, so that it travel a vertical height of, whenever the body travels from this top of the inclined plane to the bottom of the inclined plane, along vertical direction through what distance it travel? Equal to h only, no? Height of the inclined plane, no? So here, along this direction, whenever the body is released here, what is the reason why the block comes down along the inclined plane? What is the reason? Whenever the block is released from the top of the inclined plane, smooth inclined plane, if you release them, How it comes down along the inclined plane? Because of weight component, no? Because of weight component. So along this direction, the weight component acts on the block is equal to mg sin theta, no? So because of this weight component, the block is pulled along the inclined plane downwards by this weight component, and finally it reaches the point here. What is the work done by gravitational force on the body? What is the work done by gravitational force on the body in this direction? Suppose whenever the body is here, the weight mg acts vertically down this direction. You resolve them into components. If it is theta, it is theta, we know. It is mg cos theta and it is mg sin theta. Normal reaction in this direction. Okay, is any work done by the normal reaction on the body? Whenever the block slides down along the smooth inclined plane down like this, then this normal reaction is perpendicular, and weight component mg cos theta is also perpendicular to the displacement of the body. That's why due to this normal reaction and weight component, no work is done. But along the direction of displacement, the weight component acts is only mg sin theta. Because of this weight component only, the body slides down along the inclined plane and reaches the bottom. So what is the work done by weight? Work done by weights. Weight means work done by weights on the body, on the block, లేదా on the body to reach bottom. To reach bottom, W is equal to work done by weight or work done by gravity. Work done by weight or work done by gravity, Wg is equal to force acts on the body along the direction of displacement of the body is equal to mg sin theta. Of course, first you write the general formula, Fs cos theta, no? Work done by the gravity on the body is equal to force into displacement into cos theta, Fs cos theta. Fs cos theta. Okay, so this is equal to force acts on the block along the direction of displacement is equal to mg sin theta into displacement along this direction is equal to L. Whenever the block travels from top of the inclined plane to bottom, it travel a distance equal to L. Then angle between mg sin theta and this displacement is 0, so cos 0. Of course, here theta is not this theta, it is a alpha. So alpha is 0. Alpha is equal to 0 degree. So this is equal to mg L sin theta. But from the diagram, what about sin theta? From the diagram, what about sin theta? Sin theta is equal to opposite by hypotenuse, no? H by L, no? So LL cancel. Therefore, mg into H. Okay. So work done by gravity is equal to mg into H. Actually, work is done by the gravity in displacing the block from top of the inclined plane to bottom along this path is equal to mg L sin theta, which is equal to mg H. Suppose if the same body is released from this point, it whenever the block travel from top to bottom of the inclined plane along the gravitational force along vertically downwards direction, the displacement of the body is equal to H. Therefore, in this case, what is the work done by the gravity? Whenever the block travels from this point to this point, then along vertical direction travel a distance H along the direction of weight of the body or gravitational force. Then what is the work done by gravity? What is the work done by gravity in travel from this point to this point is equal to weight mg into displacement of the body along the direction of weight is equal to H. Therefore, mg into H is the work done by gravity. Both are same now. So whenever the block is moved along the inclined plane or whenever the block comes down, then work done by gravity does not depends on the path followed. When the block travel along this path, work done by gravity is equal to mgh. Even the block travel from this point to this point along vertical direction. In such case also work done by gravity is same. That means along vertical direction, initially body is here, finally the body is here. So it is the initial point, it is the final point. Because of gravity, when the body displaces from one point to another point, is the body is displaced along vertically downwards direction or along this path, the work done by the gravity does not depends on the path followed. Gravitational force పనిచేసే డైరెక్షన్ లో బాడీ ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడికి వచ్చినప్పుడు గ్రావిటేషనల్ ఫోర్స్ పనిచేసే డైరెక్షన్ లో ఇనిషియల్ పాయింట్ ఇది, ఫైనల్ పాయింట్ ఇది. అప్పుడు along the direction of the gravitational force, what is the displacement of the body means H only, no? That's why work done by gravity is equal to mg into displacement of the body along the direction of gravitational force is equal to H, mgh. Here also we got same mgh only. That means when you move the body along this path or along this vertically downwards direction, the work done by gravity depends on the initial position and final position of the body. ఈ రెండింటి మీద మధ్య డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ ఎంత ఉందో దాని మీద డిపెండ్ అవుతుంది తప్పితే along which path the body travels, it does not depends. That indicates the work done by gravity depends on the initial point and final point of the body only, or initial position and final position of the body only, but does not depends on the path followed. That's why this gravitational force can be considered as the conservative force. So what are the examples for conservative force means? Therefore, example for conservative force, gravitational force we can write gravitational force, electric force. Electric force means force between two electric charges, that is called electric force. Magnetic force, magnetic force means the force between two magnets or magnetic poles, magnetic force, etc. These are the example for gravitational force, conservative force. So the work done by conservative force on a body does not depends on the path followed. It depends on initial position and final position of a body. Okay. Next, second one, non-conservative force. And moreover, as the gravitational force is the conservative force, you remember this point, as the gravitational force is the conservative force, or electric force is the conservative force, or magnetic force is the conservative force, the work done by conservative force, the work done by conservative force, work done by conservative force in general, work done by conservative force, that means any kind of this force, work done by conservative force, comma WC, work done by conservative force, conservative means C, work done by conservative force is equal to minus of change in potential energy of the body, minus of change in potential energy, delta U, you write, change in potential energy of a body, that is equal to minus of final potential energy minus initial potential energy of a body. So related to this note point we had to discuss. You see, work done by conservative force on a body is equal to minus of change in potential energy of a body, or WG can be written as F bar dot delta X bar, F bar dot delta X bar, that means displacement of the body is a delta X. It is here, it is the conservative force. So work done by conservative force or work done by gravity in general, work done by conservative force, you write work done by conservative force on a body, WC, is equal to force, conservative force acts on the body into delta X bar, that is equal to minus delta into U, change in negative of change in potential energy. If FC delta X both are in the same direction, then FC delta X is equal to minus delta U by delta U, or conservative force acts on the body is equal to minus delta U by delta X, minus delta U by delta X. Okay. So if here it is the, whenever the delta X is large, change in potential energy is also large. Okay. If delta X tends to 0 but not 0, that means the displacement through which the body travel, the displacement of the body is very small, not equal to 0 but very small. In such case, change in potential energy is also very small. In such case, we can write the conservative force as minus du by dx, because dx represents very small value. That's why whenever the displacement of the particle is very small, under the conservative force acts on the particle, then change in potential energy is also very small. Then conservative force acts on a body is equal to minus du by dx. If you differentiate potential energy with respect to distance, then it is called potential gradient. Negative value of potential gradient of energy, potential energy, negative gradient of potential energy, that is called conservative force. So the negative gradient of potential energy is equal to conservative force. Therefore, negative gradient of potential energy is called or is equal to, you write is equal to, you should not say call, is equal to conservative force acts on a body. Conservative force acts on a body. This is very, very, very important formula. Negative gradient of potential energy of a body is equal to conservative force acts on a body. Suppose if you write du by dt, that is called rate measure of the potential energy. Du by dx means that is the gradient of potential energy. That is the difference. Okay. In mathematics, I said, I think, rate measure. Suppose the force acts on a body. The conservative force acts on a body is represented by the equation Fx I cap plus Fy j cap plus Fz k cap. Okay, then the component of the conservative force acts along x-axis can be represented as minus du by dx. Component of the conservative force acts on the body along y-axis is represented as minus du by dy. Here, differentiation of this potential energy with respect to particularly x, then that can be called as the partial differentiation of potential energy with respect to x. That is represented by minus, instead of du by dx, we have to represent this as dou u by dou x, because this potential energy is only the function of x. This potential, in the potential energy here, only x is the variable, remaining all are constants. Then that x component of the force is equal to negative gradient of potential energy with respect to x. Negative gradient of potential energy along x-axis. Okay, this is called partial differentiation of potential energy with respect to x. Similarly, Fy is equal to minus dou u by dou x, dou y. Fz is equal to minus dou u by dou z. Therefore, the conservative force acts on the body is equal to Fx means minus dou u by dou x into I cap plus Fy means minus dou u by dou y into j cap plus Fz means minus dou u by dou z into k cap. It's a very, very important formula. The conservative force acts on a body can be represented like this. If we know the potential energy of a body, then by differentiating them, we can find the conservative force acts on a body, because the conservative force acts on a body is the negative gradient of potential energy. By using this concept, we can write the conservative force as like this. Okay, this is one point. Next, note point. Okay, non-conservative, after discussion of non-conservative force, I will discuss the note points. Next, non-conservative force. Next, moreover, one more point here we can write. Here, note point in case of conservative force. The work done by the conservative force on a body along the closed path is equal to 0. Best example, you see, a body is projected vertically upwards. Then it reaches a height, say h. It reaches a height h. Then what is the work done by the gravity when it travels from A to B? Okay, one body is projected vertically upwards with certain velocity. Okay, then after it reaches the highest point, again it comes down and finally reaches the ground. In this case, what is the work done by the conservative force on a body, or what is the work done by the gravitational force on a body? Work done by gravitational force on a body is equal to work done by the gravitational force on a body in travel from A to B, that is WAB, plus work done by gravitational force on a body to travel from B to A, that is equal to WBA. BA. Now tell me, what is the work done by the gravitational force on a body when it travels from A to B through a height h? Tell me, what is the work done by the gravitational force on a body to travel from A to B along vertically upward direction is how much? Plus mgh or minus mgh? Gravitational force acts on the particle is downwards, displacement upwards. That's why negative work done. No? So minus mgh. Plus, what is the work done by the gravitational force on a body in travel from B to A through the same distance h? Gravitational force in downwards direction and displacement also in the downwards direction. That's why work done is positive, mgh. That is equal to 0, no? That means work done by the conservative force or gravitational force on a body in travel from A to B and then back to A. That means along the closed path. That is 0, no? That's why work done by any conservative force on a body in moving the body along the closed path is zero. That is very, very important point. Therefore, work done by conservative force on a body in moving the body along the closed path is zero. This is very, very important point. It is very, very important point. Work done by conservative force on a body in moving the body along the closed path is equal to zero. So this is very, very important point. Okay. Next, non-conservative force on a body. Just 5 minutes. Non-conservative force on a body. Second one, non-conservative force. That's all. Non-conservative force. Here, the force which acts on a body due to which the work done by the force on a body in moving the body along the closed path is not equal to zero. Then such type of force is called the non-conservative force. If the work done by the force on a body in moving the body along the closed path is not equal to zero, then such force is called the non-conservative force. Okay. Closed path means already I said no. When you move the body from A to B and then back to B, back to A, along the closed path. Closed path means initial point and final point both are coincided. Then we can say that is a closed path. Suppose from A to B the body is travel from A to B along this path and then back to A along this path. Then it is called closed path. That means initial point, final points both are same. Then that is called the closed path. So the work done by a force on a body in moving along closed path is not equal to zero. The force is called non-conservative force. Can you say an example for non-conservative force? Can you say any example for non-conservative force? Example, frictional force. Best example, frictional force. Just I will say that example only. Just 1 minute. One example I will explain. Here, suppose when the body travels from A to B, a body travels from A to B. Here it is the rough surface. That means frictionable surface. Coefficient of friction is a mu. When the body travels from A to B, then friction acts on the body in opposite direction. No? So what is the work done by the friction in traveling the body from A to B? The work done by the friction on a body in travel from A to B is equal to work done by friction in moving the body from A to B is equal to how much? Okay. What is the total work done by the friction on the body in moving the body from A to B, then back to A? Work done by friction on the body in moving the body from A to B, work done by the friction is equal to WAB. In moving the body from B to A, the work done by the friction is equal to WBA. Now you tell me what is the work done by the friction on the body in moving the body from A to B? Here, tell me what is the work done by the friction on a body in moving the body from A to B? From A to B, the displacement of the body is a D. Okay, now you tell me frictional force acts in this direction, F into displacement D into cos angle between friction and displacement. Displacement of the body in this direction, whereas the frictional force acts on the body is in opposite direction. That's why cos 180. Okay, plus work done by the body in moving the body from B to A. Work done by the friction on the body in moving the body from B to A. When the body travel from B to A in this direction, if the body travel in this direction, the friction acts on the body in opposite direction. Okay, displacement of the body when it come back to the initial point is equal to D. So in this case, work done. As the same body is there, it is moving back. The friction does not change. So friction F into displacement of the body when it travel from B to A is D into cos. Frictional force is in this direction and displacement in this direction. Still it is 180. So this is equal to minus FD minus FD. That means minus 2FD. That is equal to minus 2 into. What is the frictional force between these two? As the body is kept on the rough horizontal surface, then frictional force is equal to mu into normal reaction. Normal reaction is equal to mg only, no? Since body is kept on the horizontal surface, normal reaction is equal to mg. Okay, mu into mg. This is the frictional force into d. That's why minus 2 mu mg d. This is the work done by friction, which is not equal to 0. So work done by the friction on a body in moving the body along the closed path. Closed path means the body must come back to the initial point. Then here work done is not equal to 0. That's why this force is called the non-conservative force. The work done by the frictional force on a body in moving the body along the closed path is not equal to 0. It is not equal to 0. That's why this type of force is called the non-conservative force. Best example for non-conservative force is frictional force. It is very, very important point. Okay. Right. In next class, I will explain. Okay, next class I will explain.